hear that? I think there's some kind of creature in my attic. My family insists that they don't hear it, but you hear it, right? I'm not crazy. Maybe your questions about creepy critters will help me find out what it is. Here's the first one from Mateus.
Can animals be evil?
I am the evilest.
No, I'm the evilest.
No, I am.
No, me.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. But I found some critters online that really are creepy. Like lampreys. Their mouth is a big ring of teeth. They bite into fish and suck its blood out. A praying mantis mom will kill its kid's dad. And some snakes can fly to make a snake attack. A Komodo dragon can even attack people. And these star-nosed moles just creep me out. I mean, look at them.
Why are creatures so creepy? What's with all the blood-sucking, sneak-attacking, scary-lookingness? Just the thought of eaten by a giant lizard. Uh-oh! Head getting worn. Brain overload. Why are there so many weird and disgusting creatures? Ah! You're gonna make my head explode!
Okay, so lots of things are creepy. But Matea's question was, are they evil? I promise to have the answer by the end of this episode.
Ask a friend.
What creatures do you find creepiest?
A cobra.
A caterpillar? A cockroach?
At night, it would be a wolf. A big snake.
Bed bugs.
The black widow, because he can jump right to your face.
I find rattlesnakes pretty creepy.
Sharks.
A giant gorilla.
A grizzly bear. Spiders. So creepy. Oh, great. Now you've made me even more scared. Let me take another question to settle my nerves. Why are people scared of spiders? I think that question's a job for the professionals. He can tell if they're bugs hiding under your rugs. He can keep away pests, that's why he's the best. Here's Sean!
Hi, Zoe. I brought some insects for you. Can I put them down somewhere?
Yeah, just on the table.
Perfect.
What was that?
What is what?
Phew, it's just you. Your job is getting rid of creepy things in people's houses, right?
That's correct. I'm also an entomologist, and that's a scientist that studies insects. I brought some critters with me today. Not all of them are insects. I have a millipede, I have a centipede, and in here we have a cockroach you can see in the microscope.
Wow, amazing.
I also brought with me a spider for you to look at.
A spider?
Yep, they're not an insect, they're an arachnid because they have 8 legs.
Oh yeah, and an insect has 6.
Correct.
Why are people afraid of spiders?
Well, that's a great question. We really shouldn't be afraid of spiders. They're beneficial. They help to eat insects that are living in our house. But if you have a bad infestation, or maybe you live somewhere where there's a lot of poisonous spiders, we should be concerned.
Speaking about infested, my attic has something in it. It's making this weird chewing sound. Could it be bed bugs?
Probably not bed bugs. They don't make chewing sounds.
I actually have a question about bed bugs. Why do bed bugs bite?
To answer the question, they bite to get food. So their food is blood. They feed just like mosquitoes do. Would you like to see how they feed?
Sure.
Okay, let me get one here.
Oh, he's biting you. Does it hurt?
No, not at all. In fact, they inject an anesthetic so you don't feel it.
I don't think a bed bug's making that chewing sound. Can you help me find out what is?
Absolutely. Maybe it's an animal that got inside.
An animal?
Sure, let's go take a look.
So, Sean, did you become an exterminator because you were afraid of bugs?
Actually, I'm not afraid of them. I really like bugs. But when they become a pest and they're in people's houses, I like to help them get rid of those pests. My daughter, Aiden, she really likes to collect insects, too.
Hi, Aiden. So what did you bring?
Well, I brought some sow bugs and baby ones, and I brought a millipede.
Cool. Where did you find them?
Well, it's a wood pile, and when you tip it over, you see lots of bugs hiding under it.
Did you find them yourself?
Well, I had a little bit of help from my dad.
What do you like about bugs?
They're part of nature, and they're part of the food chain. And they're useful for, like, birds, so they can keep themselves alive.
What do you do with the bugs?
I keep them for a day or two, and then I just let them go.
How do you keep them so they don't die?
Well, you have to get a container that has at least some holes. Then you have to give them food and some moisture.
You can look for bugs just like Aiden. They're everywhere, and they're super cool.
Thanks, Aiden.
Welcome.
Here's a question from Justin.
Why do cockroaches hide in the dark?
Hey, Sean, how come if you turn on a light, you'll see a roach running in the dark? Why do they like the dark so much?
That's a great question. It's really not just the light, but it's also the vibrations when you enter the room. They think you're a predator, so they run and they try to hide in dark places like this.
That gives me an idea for...
My Crate Challenge!
Today's challengers are Aiden and a few of her friends. Andrew.
Hi.
La.
Hi.
And Abdul. Hey. You guys have to be roaches and crawl on all four. You have to grab the cookie and take it back to your safe place, which is by the carpets, and then you have to put them in the basket. The team with the most cookies win. Got it?
Yeah!
But there's a trick. You're only safe in the dark, so when I turn the lights back on, I'll be able to swat you, and that means you're out. Are you guys ready?
Yeah!
On your mark, get set, go!
Look at all those cockroaches, snatching all those cookies. Orange team is off to a great start. But green team not doing as well.
Lights on. Got you. So you're eliminated now. You have to stay on the carpet. For the 3 remaining roaches, get set, go!
With fewer cookies, green team is crawling hard to catch up to the orange team, who's quickly finding more cookies.
Lights on. Got you.
What a break for green team. With orange team out of the cookie hunt, will green team snatch all the rest of the cookies to win?
Oh, the green team got a cookie. They're lucky they're in the dark until lights on. Got you.
One more creepy roach just walked.
Go. And lights on. Oh, I missed you. Go.
Come on in. Go.
Lights on. Got you.
So close. And oh wait, she has a cookie though. Yes.
Okay, so I counted the cookies, and here are the results. The green team has 14 cookies, and the orange team has 25 cookies. So that means you guys win. Thanks for being on my show and helping me find stuff out. Now, go find more cookies before I swat you! Ah! Hey, Sean, any sign of creepy creatures?
Just this one so far.
But you'll keep looking, right?
Sure thing.
I really want to catch whatever is making that chewing sound. I wonder what it is. I got this really smart question earlier.
Hey Zoe, why don't you just do a computer search for the creepiest animal contest winner?
I'm glad you asked, person who does not at all look like me. And I checked. Well, some things you just can't unsee. And you're about to see them too. He's the creepiest animal, so let's give him a hand to maul. Please welcome biologist Matthew Paminter.
Hi, Zoe. Thanks for inviting me on.
Creepy. These are funny critters.
Are they rats?
No, they're called naked mole rats, but they're not actually rats or moles. They're most closely related to porcupines and guinea pigs and chinchillas.
You're so ugly, you're cute.
Wow, their teeth are so long.
That's right. They actually use them like shovels when they're digging, and their teeth are outside of their mouths, so they don't get a mouthful of dirt every time they dig a tunnel. Do you want to hold one?
Sure.
There you go. So you can see when they're in the tunnel together that it's really a tight fit, and they'll often end up running right over top of each other.
Cool.
And this guy here, if he gets adventurous, is gonna, oh.
He's going backwards.
That's right.
Do you think they know they look like that weird?
No, they're actually mostly blind, and they live in the dark. And you can see right now, even when they run up against the edge of the tunnel, they act surprised because they can't see that it's coming.
If they're blind, a predator could catch them easily, right?
Well, actually, they rely on their sense of smell to protect themselves. They actually will all roll around in each other's poop, so they all smell the same.
Okay, you might want to take them back.
Well, and that's not even the worst. To get all the nutrients out of their food, they actually eat their own poop. It's like getting 2 meals for the price of 1.
They like that?
They seem to.
Ugh, I think I hear a song coming on.
Naked mole rat, why won't you get dressed? Please put on a shirt or maybe a vest. You don't have to be chic, don't have to have style, but maybe put on pants maybe once in a while. Naked mole rat, you don't seem to care that your wrinkly skin doesn't have any hair. I guess you're just content being naked around with your poop-eating friends and you're holding the ground. Naked mole rat, I don't mean to judge, but you're squinty and weird and think poop tastes like fudge. Blech!
Hey, did you ever think that maybe you're the weird one?
Oh, I never looked at it that way. Naked mole rat, I guess I was wrong. Turns out there's a reason your teeth are so long, and you don't need a coat, cause you live in the dirt. I hope that my song didn't make you feel hurt. Oh yes, I hope my little song didn't make you feel hurt. No hard feelings, right?
There's something in my attic making a chewing sound. You don't think it's a poop-eating naked mole rat, do you?
Probably not, because these guys are only found in Africa.
So why did you like studying them then?
Well, naked mole rats do a lot of things that people can't do. They can survive in environments with really low oxygen, they don't get cancer, and they live really long lives. So there's a lot of really interesting reasons to figure out the biology of how they do that, and then to try to bring it back to people and try to help patients who have problems.
How'd you get attached to them if they're so creepy?
Even though an individual mole rat is maybe not the most attractive animal you've ever seen, when you put them all together, they're pretty cute.
Who'd guess they'd be the life of the party? Thanks for helping me find stuff out.
It's been my pleasure, thank you.
I've got a really fishy question from Joshua.
Can piranhas eat you alive?
Flat Earth Corner! I'm Zoe von Zoe, the famous explorer. I said, the famous explorer. That's more like it. When I was exploring the Amazon, I discovered a terrible, man-eating fish. He jumped out of the water and ate a man on my team. It just gobbled him up with his terrible teeth. But I slayed the evil fish, and that's why I'm the bravest explorer in the world. Ah, come on. Hey!
I figured Von Zoe just made that up to get attention.
Hey! But to answer your question, Joshua, about whether piranhas eat you alive, I checked. And back in the old days when it was hard to travel and send messages, stories about animals in faraway lands got really exaggerated. So I think piranhas wouldn't actually eat a person. Or would it?
I'm going to check that out.
I'm here at my local aquarium with marine biologist Maude. Hi, Maude.
Hi, Zoe.
So these are real piranhas?
They're real piranhas, and we're gonna go clean their tank. Follow me.
Wow, there's a lot of them.
Yes, there is.
Oh, they're creepy.
I'm not scared. I'm going in.
Really?
Yeah.
She's going in. I can't watch. Oh, so far so good.
Maud is cleaning the tank by vacuuming and scrubbing it. Even though she's in the water surrounded by piranhas, they let her do her thing and keep their distance from her. Looks like they're more afraid of her than she is of them.
You made it! You're live!
I am.
So, how come they didn't bite you?
Because I'm not their food. They actually eat bugs, worms, small fish. Sometimes they will eat small mammals that gets in the water. But some of them even eat plants. Fortunately for you, you're not on their menu.
Then how come people always say they're man-eating fish?
It's mostly legends. Like, they might nibble on a dead animal in the water, but they normally won't attack a large animal to kill it. People have been known to swim with piranhas for ages and nothing happens.
Do they make any evil ha-ha sounds?
No, they don't, but they actually make some kind of barking sound.
Maybe they bark like a dog so cats won't eat them?
Good guess, but probably not.
Thanks for helping me find stuff out.
You're more than welcome.
Joanna has a question that's out of this world.
Are stingrays from outer space?
I've come all the way to outer space to find out. Whoa. Just kidding. I'm still at the aquarium with another marine biologist, Andrew.
Hi, Zoe.
Hi. Joanna thinks stingrays are from outer space, but they're not, are they?
No, they kind of look like they could be, and our southern stingrays even look a little bit like living flying saucers, but stingrays are definitely from Earth.
Then why do they look so creepy?
Well, why don't we hop in the tank and find out?
Wait, this tank? Right now? Cool. Andrew tells me not to worry. Stingrays do sting, but the ones here at the aquarium have their stingers clipped, so they're safe. It's like clipping a fingernail, so it doesn't hurt them. Cool. So where's their mouth?
Right underneath their body. So feel free to touch them as they come over. You can pet them nice and gently on their back.
So why are they so flat?
Well, stingrays have a flat shape which helps them hide on the bottom or under the sand to hide from their predators. They've got big eyes on the top of their head, which helps them keep an eye out for any predators that might be trying to sneak up on them. And they've got their mouth on the underside of their body, which helps them find their food, which would also be buried in the sand usually. We don't normally let people do this, but if you want to try feeding one, what you do is you just tuck your finger right inside, just hold this really, really loosely so they can suck it out just like that.
Whoa, that's weird. So are there any other animals that are like them?
Stingrays are actually very closely related to sharks, and they have a lot of features in common. Stingrays and sharks both have teeth which are constantly falling out and regrowing throughout their entire life, although sharks' teeth are a bit sharper. You can kind of think of a stingray as a flattened down shark, with a few modifications.
Speaking of sharks, I'm trying to answer a question whether animals are evil. Do you think sharks or stingrays are evil?
Definitely not. Stingrays have a stinger that they can use to sting, but it's only if they have to survive. And sharks are actually really lazy. They don't want to bite anything they don't have to, and they're only looking for an easy meal. If we didn't have sharks, then there would be too many of the other animals, and they wouldn't have enough food. So sharks help keep the oceans really healthy. They're really just doing what they have to survive, and they're certainly not evil.
Survival again. Thanks for being on my show and helping me find stuff out.
My pleasure.
I think I finally have the answer to Mateus's question.
Can animals be evil?
The big answer is... no. Even the evilest, creepiest looking ones are just trying to get through their day. When a stingray uses its stinger, or roaches scurry around in the dark, they're just trying to protect themselves. And when a lamprey sucks a fish's blood, or a snake flies out of the trees to attack, they're just trying to get a good lunch. Turns out, even the creepiest things have a reason for what they do. Like a praying mantis, it eats its mate so it has enough food to make babies. So, creatures might be dangerous or even look evil. They're not really evil. They're just trying to survive. You're not harmful, are you? No, you aren't.
Hey, Zoe, I found out what was making that chewing sound.
What is it?
Well, it's black, it has sharp teeth and claws, and it's about this big.
Yikes, get it out of here.
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure. A puppy? How'd a puppy get in my house? Aww, it has a note. Happy birthday, Zoe. It's a birthday surprise.
No wonder my family pretended they didn't hear the chewing sound.
They wanted him to be a surprise.
You know we could take him home if you're too scared.
Yeah!
No, you're not scary. I love him. I'm gonna name you Chewy, because you chew a lot.
Well, we solved my mystery, and I answered your question. And I got a puppy. See you next time for more Finding Stuff Out.
He sort of sounds like a piranha.
Hi, welcome to Finding Stuff Out, the show where I search for your answers, no matter how shocking they are. And you might be wondering why I'm walking on this red carpet. Well, it's not like I was nominated for an award or anything, but if you wanted to nominate me, that would be totally awesome. Actually, the reason I'm walking around on this carpet is because I'm trying to answer a question about a mysterious form of energy. So if my calculations are correct and I've shuffled just enough... Ouch! That was more than I expected. Must have been the shoes. Anyway, let's start off with a question. Sorry, I forgot to turn the monitor on. That's better. It's from Lucia.
Why does my hair stick to my chair?
The short answer is, it's caused by a powerful force of nature. And today, I'll find out what that powerful force is and how to use it to make the kids of today superheroes. So now I have to find out why your hair sticks to your chair. It's probably something sticky. I guess the mysterious force isn't peanut butter. This calls for an investigation. And another question. This one's from Steven.
Why do we need electricity? If cavemen didn't, then they survived.
Here's an animated clip I made that should shed some light on your question.
True. Cavemen didn't have electricity, but they did have another form of energy, fire, which back then wasn't easy to make. They could use it to cook and dry their clothes, or even as a light to read by. And for millions of years, fire served as a cheap substitute for family entertainment. Oh no, Krog's favorite show, preempted by Weather Network.
Staying warm, cooking food, and entertaining ourselves are just some of the things that we use electricity for. Now here's a question.
Why do so many things run on electricity?
From the world of physics, please welcome my special guest, Mark Nantel!
Hi.
Hi. The mysterious force. So why do so many things run on electricity?
Well, I mean, for very different reasons. In the case of light, it's just cleaner and it's more efficient and it's safer. In the case of a drill, a hand drill, you can put it in a battery and go anywhere you want. In the case of the watch, well, you know, you don't want to have to wind your watch all the time, and sometimes you forget.
It's a pain.
It's a pain. Well, the electric one works pretty much all the time for a long time. So that's why a lot of things work on electricity, essentially. And you know, Harrison, this makes light, right? It makes a lot of light and it's great, but it's not very efficient.
Yeah.
Now, this little guy is very efficient. It doesn't take hardly any electricity to light up.
Cool. Let me find a battery.
Don't worry about it. I have everything we need in this lemon. Yeah, I'll show you. We'll make a battery with lemon.
Okay.
The lemon juice can be what's called an electrolyte. An electrolyte is something that is used in batteries to carry electricity from one side of the battery to the other side of the battery. So you take a lemon, you make a little slit in it. In the slit, you put a penny, and then you put a nail on the other side. Well, what you have here is essentially a little mini battery. Now, if you want to be clever, you make several of these guys, and then you can connect them in a row. So yeah, you take one side to the penny, other side of the alligator clip goes to the nail.
Okay.
And you continue like that for a while, and the more lemons you put, the more power you get. So let's try to make it like this with a 4-lemon battery. Let's see if it works. It works! Ta-da!
So now there's a better saying. When life hands you lemons, don't make lemonade, make a battery. Now here's a question from Joshua.
How do we make electricity?
How do we make electricity?
Well, Joshua, I think we already answered your question. There's a huge pile of lemons somewhere, the size of a mountain, along with some pennies and nails, right?
Well, not exactly. There are other ways to make electricity. Typically, you send something through a propeller of some kind. As it goes through, it gives electricity, and the electricity, in this case, can power the little light bulb, right? It could be wind. Sometimes you can put water and have it go down through a bunch of turbines. This is a fancy word for propellers. And then the propellers are connected to a generator, and at the end comes out electricity. Sometimes when you don't have water and you don't have wind, you may want to generate your own by boiling water and making steam, like really high pressure. Yep. And then you pass that through your propeller. And so, how do you make the steam? You can use nuclear power, or you can decide to burn fossil fuels like coal or petroleum or natural gas. But another way you can do power that doesn't involve steam or nuclear power or anything are some maybe more sustainable ways, using what the Earth already gives you. Something like geothermal. So the Earth is hotter inside the Earth.
Yeah.
So if you dig a hole in the Earth, it's hotter than at the top. So you can actually get some of the heat that's there in order to help you generate electricity. But also you can use the tides. So if you go at high tides, you make sure there's water somewhere, and when tide becomes lower, all the water comes back down to go to the sea, and that's when you make it go through propellers again and turbines.
So no matter how you make the turbine turn, it generates electricity.
And the other way you could do it is using solar panels. So the sun is always there, it's shining on the Earth anyway, it's wasting a lot of energy. Let's imagine this is the sun, right?
Okay.
All right, well, yeah, just imagine. And we light this up. Watch it. Yay! There's your car. So we generated electricity that powered the little car just from the solar panel that's on its back.
No turbine needed.
So until we're using things that don't create pollution, how do we cut down on it?
You could use less electricity. That's the best way. So if you have lights on in the house that you don't need to have on, turn it off. You could still leave the TV on if you're watching this show, though.
Yeah. Now here's a question from Kirsten.
How does electricity travel through wires?
Imagine that a wire is this tube. Just like those marbles slide from one end of the tube to the other, when you turn a switch, all of a sudden, the electricity goes to where it's needed. If you turn off the switch, it stops. Turn on the switch, it goes.
So what are the marbles supposed to be?
Well, they're kind of an analogy to electrons.
Okay.
Electrons are little bits, the smallest bits of electricity you can find.
Cool. That was very illuminating. Thanks for being on my show, Mark.
No problem, my pleasure.
Speaking of moving electricity down a wire,
it's time for...
My Great Challenge!
So Shoshana and Olivia, take your positions and get ready to compete. Woo! In real life, we have to move electricity long distances from where we make it to where we use it. So today, my great challenge is about moving electricity from one place to another. So you have to get the power from the batteries all the way up to the caveman who's holding the light bulbs, and the first one of you to get it all the way up to the caveman will be the winner.
And here's the tricky part. You have to use these wires and other stuff. But none of it is long enough to run from our batteries to our caveman's light. So you have to figure out what you can connect to the wires to carry current all the way between these streetlights and our cavemen. Here's a hint. Some of our materials are called conductors, meaning that electrons can flow through them. Others are called insulators, meaning that electrons can't flow through them.
When I touch these wires together, a buzzer will go off, and that's your signal to start. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a worm on this one.
Olivia starts with the toy worm. It's made out of rubber, so the light won't go on. Rubber does not conduct electricity. It's an insulator. Shoshana tries out the steel wool. Will it work?
Yes, I got one.
Yes, metal is a great conductor of electricity. Electrons easily move through it. And now Olivia is doing the same. Shoshana is trying out the light stick. Uh-oh, it may light up inside, but the outside is plastic, another insulator. Olivia doesn't seem to be using anything plastic anymore. That metal wire works.
Stay.
Yep, that knitting needle is also metal.
Shoshana's catching up. They're tied now.
They're both down to their last light, and Olivia's putting the pedal to the metal with aluminum foil. Oh, the caveman's torch is lit up. We have a winner.
Olivia, congratulations.
Congratulations!
Street smarts!
So what would you do if there was no electricity?
Well, I would probably scream and run and cry.
I will use like a lemon and dime and penny to light the little light. I'd play the drums.
Yeah, I like this guy.
I just practiced my dancing.
To be honest with you, I don't really care if there's electricity or not.
I would just use a candle and just live my life.
I do like Benjamin Franklin or Thomas Edison did, learn on how to do it, or I just use my dog to tug me to school on my scooter.
I'll scream and die.
No electricity? My show wouldn't exist. That means you guys wouldn't be able to see me.
How come electric eels don't electrocute themselves?
Yeah, that's weird. How come electric eels don't electrocute themselves? Now that is mysterious. I've never thought of that before. An animal that makes electricity shocks other things but doesn't shock itself with electricity that it makes inside of its own body. That's shocking!
You're gonna make my head explode! To find out more about electric eels, I met up with Nicole Can at the aquarium.
An eel? That's not creepy enough. It has to be an electric eel. So, how do these things work anyway? Do you have to plug them in?
No, not at all. These electric eels can be found in the muddy waters of South America, and they generate electricity to stun their prey and to scare their predators, the things that want to eat them.
Okay, let me get out of here. Ugh, why would you want to eat an electric eel anyway? And how do they make electricity?
Well, on the back of their tail here, they actually have very specialized cells called electrocytes. And when they all fire at once, that's what creates the electric charge.
Okay, so to answer Jamie's question, how come they don't electrocute themselves?
The truth is, nobody knows. There's a couple of theories out there. Some people think that maybe they're immune to electricity, or maybe they just have all of their vital organs insulated from that charge.
Are they the only animals that make electricity? No, don't tell me sharks make electricity too. They're already dangerous enough with their teeth.
Okay, well, they don't actually make electricity, but they can detect it. They have special cells underneath their snouts, and all those cells do is they detect bioelectricity. So that's the electricity that any living thing makes, whether it's a fish or a person.
Wait, did you just say a person?
Yep. Dun, dun, dun.
No, my head really is going to explode. If my head's going to explode, maybe I should go see Dr. Joe Macker. He's a neuroscientist.
This is just one of Dr. Macker's friends.
So I heard that sharks can detect electrical activity in humans, and I was wondering if it's really true that we can make electricity inside of our own bodies.
Yes, that's absolutely true. And in fact, our brains can use as much electricity as a 60-watt light bulb. In fact, I can even show you that electrical activity in action in your brain right now. This is Harrison, our brain, and he's ready to be measured up.
Hi.
So Chantal's measuring your head and marking the spots where the wires that we're going to attach to your head are going to go. They need to be on exactly the right spots above the right part of your brain.
People always want to pick my brain, but this is ridiculous. Are these gonna suck my brain out?
No, but they will let us see the electrical activity of your brain.
Okay. My mom always thinks I'm wired. Now I'm actually wired.
That doesn't hurt, does it, Harrison?
No, it's just really cold though.
Oh, it helps you keep a cool head.
This is what a bowl of spaghetti must feel like.
Okay. Great, so now Chantal is going to start the electroencephalogram, or EEG.
So I'm ready.
I'm going to ask you to close your eyes now.
The first test is to check out what happens if I keep my eyes closed, and then open them.
For the next part, I'm going to place this light, which will flash at you, and you'll need to close your eyes for this. Okay, we're done.
That was really weird. It was like the lights, and I like kind of wanted to open my eyes while they were like going, but I knew I wasn't supposed to, so I didn't. And it was just really weird.
It's time to see if I'm really full of energy. Yes! Check out my brainwaves. That's electricity.
So here, this is when you had your eyes closed and everything is nice and calm. And if I just move forward a little bit.
Wow.
Yep, right there where the yellow
Yeah.
blob is, that's when you open your eyes and suddenly there's a lot more going on.
Yeah, I really lit up there.
You certainly did. Okay, and here we're showing you the results of the flashing light that you had. Each of these pink spikes represents the flashing light coming on and off. And as you can see, as soon as we start flashing that light at you, the activity in your brain changes completely.
Yeah, it was really big and wavy there, and then as soon as the light came on, it was really small.
Right, exactly.
So it's true, my brain does generate electricity. But what do you use this for?
Well, we can use this to help people with epilepsy. In epilepsy, certain parts of the brain are firing when they shouldn't be. And so we can see that with this machine. And now we can even implant a device called a pacemaker into their brain, which regulates the activity so it's back to the way it should be firing.
Wow, so electricity can actually correct people's problems.
When you know what you're doing with it, yes.
Well then, maybe you can answer this question from one of our viewers.
Why don't grown-ups let kids touch electricity?
That's a very good question. In part, it's because the amount of electricity flowing within our brains is thousands of times less than what's in the wall. And also, when it's flowing from one part of our body to another, that's safe. It's dangerous when electricity comes out from outside our body and goes through us.
Yeah, that's an electric shock.
Exactly.
So remember, kids, don't play around with electricity that comes out of wall sockets, or you'll get socked with shocks.
The Flat Earth Corner!
In the 16th century, we've made huge medical advances. That's why we know that if you're suffering from certain ailments, like gout, there's a simple cure. Just stick your feet in a tub of electric eels.
Whoa! What a wonderful treatment! The electric shocks hurt so much I can't even think about my gout!
A few hundred years ago, doctors used to think if you suffered from headaches or an illness called gout, like Henry VIII, King of England, that you could be cured by sticking your foot into a tub of electric eels. Nowadays, we know that electric eels can't cure anything, except maybe boredom. I guess that's why Dr. Macker didn't have any in his lab. But speaking of Dr. Macker and his lab, it's time for...
Uh-oh. Do try this at home.
So, as I found out from Dr. Macker, your heartbeat and many other things inside of your body have electrical impulses. So to feel how that happens, place your fingers on your wrist like so. Can you feel that pulse? That's your heart pumping blood all around your body, which is controlled by tiny electrical signals. And more signals to help you keep your balance, all because of electrical impulses.
You've got electricity flowing through your whole body from cell to cell at awesome speed. You've got electricity when you're looking with your eyes, when you're smelling with your nose, when you're figuring some math, when you're wiggling your toes, when you're doing funky moves, or when you start to sneeze. You've got electricity. Yeah, you've got electricity flowing through your whole body from cell to cell at awesome speed. You've got electricity.
What's light night?
What an electrifying question. I checked, and it's a lot like rubbing a balloon against the wall, except with way more electricity.
During a storm, water droplets and clouds rub together. causing friction. This friction causes electrons, which have a negative charge, to build up inside the clouds. The Earth is positively charged. In this case, opposites attract. Eventually, the attraction is too strong. And zap! There's your lightning. It's what's called static electricity. It's exactly what happens when I rub my feet on a carpet. The friction causes the negatively charged electrons to build up in my body. The electrons have nowhere to go until I put my finger close to the positively charged chair. Then bam! I get a shock, which is like a mini bolt of lightning. Which leads me back to the original question from Lasaya.
Why does my hair stick to my chair?
The big answer, Lasaya, is... electrons! It's like a tiny version of lightning. When your hair rubs against your chair, it's picking up electrons from it.
It's the same when I'm rubbing this balloon against my sweater. This creates negative and positive charges to build up. And that force causes my balloon to stick to my sweater.
Cool, my own electric eel balloon animal. I think he likes me. Let's get this party started.
How about some pointy teeth?
Well, I guess that's goodbye to Mr. Eel. Thanks for watching Finding Stuff Out. See you next time. So sad. Let the force be with you.
I'm on the hunt for birds, but not just any birds, birds of prey, because of this question I got from Danilo.
Why do we need birds of prey?
I found out that birds of prey are birds who hunt. So, we're on the hunt for hunters. Cool. It sounds like there's a big bird overhead, but I'm not worried. Birds of prey don't hunt people. They hunt small animals or insects. They're actually afraid of people. What is that? Oh, gross. Ugh. Okay, I'm just gonna go stay over here. I've been checking up on birds of prey. There are more than 500 species in the world. Eagles, hawks, owls, falcons, they live everywhere, from the desert to the city. They mostly hunt little animals like bunnies, mice, and snakes. They swoop out of the sky and, oh no, watch out, little bunny. That eagle got the bunny. So, Danilo, I'm not actually sure why we need birds of prey, but I'll find out for you by the end of the show. And I know exactly where to start hunting for them. I'm visiting a special summer camp. It's a camp for kids and birds of prey called Radical Raptors.
Hi, Summer. Hi, Zoe. Welcome to the summer camp.
Thanks.
This is Temple. She's a North American kestrel.
She's so cute. Kids at this camp learn how to handle and even fly birds of prey.
This is Phoenix, and she's a Harris hawk. So first, you're wearing this leather glove because her talons are very sharp, and she would scratch you. Have your hand up on an angle, and then release your hand a bit. Now get this, and this is called safety. And Jessies are used to keep a hold of the bird so that they don't fly away.
She's so soft.
Yeah. I have a question from my friend Maya. Why are birds of prey called raptors?
Summer tells me that birds of prey, just like all other birds, evolved from dinosaurs. And that some dinosaurs are called raptors. But that's not why birds of prey are called raptors. It's because the Latin word for raptor means to seize or to take by force. And that's exactly how they grab their prey with their powerful talons.
Would you like to fly her?
Yeah.
Turn around and go like that.
That was so cool. So how do we get her back?
Stick
stick your hand out like this. And then I'm just gonna grab a piece of food. Put it right there.
I have another kid question.
How you teach birds of prey to do tricks like a dog? Every time they fly, they get a reward of food. So when they're hungry, they'll learn to fly to your glove. And with falcons, we use a thing called a lure, which has like a little bird at the end, not a real bird, but a fake bird. And then you swing it, and that teaches them to go after their food.
Cool.
Do you want to see her chase a fake rabbit?
Sure.
Actually, you're the fake rabbit. On your marks, get set, go! And stop! That was cool.
Yeah, but I would not want to be that rabbit. I have another kid question. Do birds have teeth?
Yeah.
Do birds have teeth?
No, birds don't have teeth, but they have a really sharp beak that they use for tearing apart their meat.
How far can an eagle see?
An eagle could see for up to 3 kilometers.
Wow, that's like seeing something really small all the way across 30 football fields. Amazing.
Well, no wonder you guys call this camp Radical Raptors.
The raptors are radical. Thanks for having me, Summer. Thanks for coming. Come again soon, Zoe.
Thinking about raptor camp, I realized that all the birds of prey that we met had 3 things in common. Strong talons, great eyesight, and sharp beaks. I wonder what it would be like if we were birds of prey.
Talons, beaks, and eyes, that's how we do it. Talons, beaks, and eyes, that's all there is to it. Our eyes are sharp as sharp can be. We see a fish jump into the sea. We spot a snake, a mouse, or a rabbit, then dive down from the sky and grab it. Talons, beaks, and eyes, that's how we get ya. Talons, beaks, and eyes, that's how we roll, you betcha. Our beaks are sharp, our talons strong. We spy our prey as we fly along. We swoop down fast, and then we nab it with our talons, beaks, and eyes.
Whew, what a ride. It's so much fun being a bird of prey. The only problem is deciding what you want to be.
Ask a friend.
Hey guys, if you are a bird of prey, which one would you like to be?
I would probably be a falcon because they're very fast and I like speed and I like the breeze when you're fast and then the wind is just in your face.
An owl because I could stay up all night.
Eagle because they're huge, they could fly a long way, and, well, they're really beautiful.
I'd like to be an owl because they're hard to spot up in trees, so they'd be good secret agents.
Falcon because I'd really like to try diving.
I'd like to be one because they have sharp talons and they're also able to eat snakes.
What? You want to eat a snake?
I never ate one, but I'm sure they'll taste good. They're like spaghetti.
One thing birds of prey do really well is fly. My friends Kenya and William know how to make paper airplanes that fly a bit like them. Hi, Kenya and William.
Hi, Zoe.
So what kind of paper airplanes can you make?
I'm doing a falcon.
And I'm doing a hawk.
Kenya's falcon glider is slim and pointy. And William's hawk glider is more flat and square.
My falcon's gonna go straight and fast.
My hawk is gonna glide slowly.
Bye.
Bye.
Let's test these out.
Swift like a falcon. Glides like a hawk.
Those paper airplanes flew just like birds of prey. But what is this mysterious slimy thing that fell from the sky? Oh, I need to ask an expert. If you need to know about birds, ask someone who can see them. My friend Jennifer Sear Devine from the Eco Museum. Hey, Zweep. I see you brought Jennifer along with you.
Hi. So exactly what is this?
I'm not really sure. I was hoping you would know.
Well, it kind of looks familiar. Come on. Dweep was actually really excited to see you again, and look, he's brought you a present.
What's this?
It's actually a regurgitated pellet.
You mean he threw it up?
Sort of.
Harrison has a question about that.
I heard that birds of prey throw up a lot. Is that true?
Well, they can, but birds of prey also do what's called regurgitating a pellet. So when they eat something like a mouse, they actually eat everything. And inside their stomach, they can't necessarily digest everything. So everything that can't be digested becomes this pellet, this ball, and that ball gets regurgitated, so it's thrown back up.
So he doesn't really throw up?
Not quite. What's actually really interesting is when you look inside a pellet, you can actually figure out what the bird of prey ate. So I've got a little challenge for you here. At the Eco Museum Zoo, we feed our birds with mice, and we feed our birds of prey with birds, chicks. So I'm gonna give you a challenge. I'm gonna ask you to try to dissect this pellet and figure out exactly what Dweep over here had for lunch yesterday.
Okay.
I'm gonna start spraying it, and as I'm spraying it, you're gonna try to dissect, pull apart all the little pieces of the pellet. At first, it might seem a little bit hard, but as the pellet gets more water on it, it gets a little softer, and then becomes easier to pull apart.
Oh yeah, it is getting easier. Yeah, there's bones in here.
Everything that the birds of prey can't digest, exactly like bones, you can find in a regurgitated pellet. Sometimes it's feathers. Sometimes it might be fur. Sometimes it might be scales, claws, teeth. So everything that's really, really hard.
Here's a bone.
Excellent. So what we do is we usually work with a sheet to try to figure out what part of the body of the animal that the bird ate that it belongs to. Try to find a picture of a bone that's just like that one, long and straight.
What about this one?
Very good. That long, straight bone, part of the leg.
Definitely a chick.
Very good. Great detective work.
Thank you. Whoa! Dweep, you scared me. Flat Earth Corner! In ancient Greece, people thought owls were a sign of good fortune. They even put pictures of owls on money. On one side, an owl, and on the other, it's Athena, the Greek goddess of wisdom. Athena and her little owl were inseparable. That could be why ancient Greeks thought owls were wise. We Romans know better. We know that owls are omens of disaster. A hoot from an owl indicates imminent death. Ah! Ah!
Nah, the ancient Romans had it all wrong. We old-timey witches keep our owls as helpers. Our owls spy around town and tell us witches what's going on.
Some people think owls are wise and mysterious. Maybe it's because of their big wise eyes. Who knows? Get it? Who knows? Yeah? Okay, next question. Do some birds of prey eat dead food? Good question. I checked, and this is what I found. Vultures are raptors, but some people don't consider them true birds of prey because they don't really hunt for food. They eat dead animals. Ugh. They can smell a dead animal carcass from 2 kilometers away. Dead meat decomposes fast, so that helps the vulture eat their food. Yum. Vultures don't have sharp talons, but they have super strong beaks, and their heads are bald. That's so when they eat rotting carcasses, no bacteria or parasites can get into their feathers and make them sick. Turkey vultures could fly away when they're frightened, but they use another weapon if they're attacked. They vomit. The rotten meal and stomach acids really stink. Predators are so grossed out that they leave the vultures alone. Now that is disgusting. Almost as disgusting as that thing. So let's just not look at it because it's time for... My Great Challenge!
Danny, Lo, and Alice on Team Eagle, and Michelle and Arvin on Team Hawk. Are you ready to be birds of prey? Okay, challengers, time to get hunting. Okay, Team Eagle, go! One team member makes the other one fly on a swing. They have to catch as much prey as possible with their special talents, then drop the prey into the nest. Anything that lands outside the nest doesn't count. Whoops, they missed that one. Okay, no more prey. 7 out of 9. Good job. Okay, Team Hawk, go! Team Hawk is going to get hungry if they can't catch any prey. There's one. They're getting the hang of it. Keep going, guys. Okay, time's up. Michelle, you were pretty good. You caught 8 prey, but only 4 went in the basket. Well, at least you have next round. And go! This is Team Eagle's chance to build on their lead. Missed that one. Team Eagle struggling in round 2. Okay, time's up. You guys got 8 prey, but only 4 went in the basket. So 7 plus 4 equals 11. Good job. You still have a chance to win. Go! Can Team Hawk come up from behind to pull off a win? 2 in 1 shot. Nice. You got this. Another 2 in 1. What a comeback. Good job, guys. Keep going. Catching that prey like pros. Team Eagle's lead is shrinking. Keep going. Only a few left. They need to catch them all. Oh, missed the nest. They're catching up. It's going to be a close one. Okay, that was the last one. Team Eagle, you have 11. And Team Hawk, you had 4. But this round, you got 7, which means you have 11 too. It's a tie. Yay! Good job, guys. Good Uh-oh, do try this at home. Today's Do Try This at Home is imitating birds. Zweep? Oh, Jennifer, it's you.
Hi, yeah.
What's the trick?
Well, actually, to sound like an owl, you need a little bit of practice, but basically you pucker up your lips a little bit, you puff out your cheeks, and you try to hoot. So I was just doing a barred owl, and they kind of sing, "Who cooks for you?" Very good. You're a natural at this.
Try it.
I know of a barn owl, and when they sing, they kind of make a screeching sound. And they also do a bit of a woo. Sounds almost like a ghost. My personal favorite, it's an eastern screech owl. And they're about this big, and they sound like a horse whinnying. Very good.
Wow, thanks, Jennifer. I'm starting to love birds of prey. Even though they eat mice and bunnies, they're not being mean.
No, you're right. It's actually a question of survival. They have to hunt in order to eat.
Mm-hmm. My friend Ruby was wondering.
Are any birds of prey endangered?
Good question. Let me see. I found out that raptors face a lot of danger. They're threatened by things like the weather, accidents, volcanoes, lightning, and disease. Then there are dangers caused by humans like pesticides, electric power lines, hunting, and egg collecting. My friends at Raptor Camp know a lot about this and what we can do to help.
The #1 reason birds of prey are endangered is because of habitat loss. When you chop down the forest trees, they lose their home.
Spotted owls are actually dying off.
stop spraying harmful pesticides on the forest or anywhere?
A really big one would be to stop throwing garbage out your car window because that attracts mice, and the birds come to eat the mice, and then they get hit by a car.
Together, we can protect these amazing creatures so they will always be around. Michael has a really good question about that.
What would happen if we didn't have birds of prey?
Well, for one thing, we would have a lot of mice. How fast can mice multiply? Start with 2 baby mice, a male and a female. At 6 weeks, the female can become pregnant. 8 baby mice are born after 3 weeks only. The female can become pregnant immediately after giving birth. Her 8 baby mice start having their own babies after 6 weeks. Same with their babies, and so on, and on, and on, and on, and on, and on! What? That can't be! You're gonna make my head explode! In 1 year only, just 2 mice could have 131,258 descendants. Now imagine millions of mice. And that's not even counting all the other creatures birds of prey wouldn't catch. Why, they take over the world! Hey, I think that's the answer to today's big question.
Why do we need birds of prey?
The big answer is to keep nature in balance. Birds of prey make sure mice don't take over the world. That's the big answer. Ta-da! But what is this big, gross thing? It looks familiar, like an owl pellet. A huge one. Maybe it's a dinosaur pellet. Well, I know what to do with a pellet. Look inside. Oh, gross, gross. Oh, I've got something. Bones?
Could this really be a dinosaur pellet? Some dinosaurs did make pellets, but who regurgitated this one?
Okay, you've caught me. I built this big pellet to see if it would help us find stuff out. And it worked. See you next time for more Finding Stuff Out. I told my mom I wanted to be a farmer, so she got me this cool ant farm. Not exactly the same, but I love watching these little ants make tunnels. But what about bigger animals on farms? I'm wondering because of this question I got from Gio.
What makes an animal a good farm animal?
I don't know, but I promise I'll find out by the end of the show. So, I'm with some farm animals, but they can't say. So I brought a special guest here today. Please welcome animal scientist Audrey St. Eves. Hi, Audrey.
Hi, Zoe.
So I'm trying to figure out what makes a great farm animal. But first I should probably ask you why some animals are farm animals and others aren't.
Right. Wild animals like lions and tigers, they like to do their own thing, like hunt and even sleep at times, and they wouldn't be that great to work with, so they're not domesticated.
What about pets? Farmers have dogs and cats, but I'm not sure they're real farm animals.
Well, farms can have dogs and cats, and they mostly help out on the farm, but they don't make products that we can eat or use, like milk, eggs, or wool. And animals like budgies and hamsters, they're also great for companionship, but they don't make the products that we can use, so we don't consider them farm animals.
No milk, no eggs. Watch me spin. So the difference between a farm animal and a wild animal or pet is a farm animal does something useful?
Exactly. So like this sheep here, sheep can produce wool, milk, and even meat. So all around, they're a really good farm animal to have.
Cool. Nice sheep. Thanks for answering my big question.
You're welcome.
That was easy. Show's over, folks. Just kidding. I found out what a farm animal is, but I didn't find out what makes a great one. Hey, Mr. Sheep, what makes you so great? Right, you can't tell me either because I don't speak sheep. Let's take a question from Massimo.
How do farm animals react to people touching them?
Cute donkey. Can I touch him?
Actually, farm animals are used to working with people every day, so this guy'd probably really like to be pet. It's a way to interact with them, and it's a way to show that you care for them.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to do that with a lion.
That's definitely not a good idea.
So cute. Come on out, chickens.
These chickens don't like to be pet.
Well, chickens are one of the farm animals that don't exactly like being pet, but you can find some that do like being pet. Hold her nice and tight so she knows she's nice and snug. And there you go. Now she feels safe.
Hi, chicken. Hey, look, eggs.
Farmers do their very best to make sure that you get fresh eggs every morning, but sometimes we can forget about the eggs and leave them in the fridge, and after a while, they're gonna go bad.
That's true. And my friends have an easy way to test that. Uh-oh, do try this at home.
To test if your egg is fresh or not, all you need is a big glass of cold water. Let's put a fresh egg in. It sinks right to the bottom.
This egg has been sitting out for a couple of weeks. Let's see what happens. It floats right to the top and it's gotten bad.
And that's how you know it's not good to eat.
Eggshells look hard, but they actually have tiny holes that let gas come out. When an egg starts to go rotten, the inside breaks apart and more gases come out. When enough gas passes through the shell, the egg gets lighter and it floats in water.
But don't break a rotten egg. It smells really bad.
Really bad.
Ew. Thanks, guys.
This is a really cool farm. It reminds me of a question I got from Ornella.
How many types of farms are there?
There's lots of kinds of farms. It's kind of hard to say. It depends on the farmer, what they grow, what they raise. So, hundreds.
Hundreds?
Maybe even thousands.
Thousands? So many farms! You're gonna make my head explode!
There are sugarcane farms for sugar, cotton farms, every kind of fruit and vegetable farm, nut farm for pecans, peanuts, pistachios, bee farms, turkey farms, silkworm farms where the worms make silk, whew, and let's not forget fish farms.
My friends started their own farm too. The experiment! So what's your farm?
It's a worm farm. It's good for the environment.
A worm farm?
Yeah, we found some worms in our garden and some dirt, and now we're gonna add in some sand. The worms like it when it's moist, so we're gonna add some water. Now it's time for the worms. Nasty, gooey.
Slimy.
Now we're gonna cover them with some more earth. It's like making lasagna. Yummy. Now we can put in some food scraps and leaves for the worms to eat. It's important to add air holes so that your worms can breathe. Worms prefer to be in a dark area, so we should probably cover them or put them in a dark space. And now we wait a few days. Whoa, the scraps are nearly gone. Time to add some more.
Wow, you can make your food scraps disappear that way. What a great way to compost.
Yeah, and once there's enough worm poop in there, you can put it back in your garden to make more plants grow.
Thanks, but don't let the worms out.
We won't, don't worry.
Worm farms are a lot less work than this. So much poop to clean. Ugh. What kind of pigs are these?
These guys are potbelly pigs, so they're a lot shorter than most other breeds of pigs, and they, of course, have a very round belly.
I got a question about pigs from Indira.
Are pigs smart animals?
Let's find out. What's the square root of 6 gajillion and 12 bazillion? He doesn't seem to know. How smart are pigs?
Well, pigs are actually pretty smart. They're smarter than most other domesticated animals, even dogs.
Even dogs?
Yeah. Pigs are also super friendly and have really good memories. They can even recognize faces and locate objects.
Ta-da! Oink, oink. Thanks, Audrey. I think my chores are done here for now.
My pleasure.
All these smart animals give me an idea for... my today's challenge is, what animal am I? On Team Barn Squad, we have Philip and Max, who are actually brothers.
We're glad to be here.
And on Team Farm Crew, we have Megan and Maya. Hey! On these cue cards, I have farm animals, but I'm not gonna show you because it's a guessing game. So one teammate is gonna give you clues and mime the animal that you guys are guessing. All right, Team Barn Squad, you're up first. Go!
Crocodile. Chicken. Some sort of weird fish. A flying contraption.
Okay, time's up, you guys. Good try. Okay, Team Farm Crew, you're up. Ready? And go.
A cat. Kangaroo? No, wait, a horse?
Yeah, good job! You guys just got it. Okay, go.
Dog? Fish?
Yeah, good job! Go.
Chicken? What?
Keep going. Okay, time's up. Good try, guys. Okay, ready? And go.
Pig.
Good job. Okay, go. Go. You're gonna run out of time.
Cow? Pig?
No.
Oh, wait.
Okay, time's up. Good job. And go.
Chicken.
Yeah. Go.
Kangaroo. Bunny.
Yeah, you got it. Good job. That was the last one. Okay, Farm Crew, you got 2 points. Well done. And Barn Squad, you got 3 points, which means you win. Brotherhood. I wonder what kind of animals my friends would like to be. Ask a friend.
I would probably choose to be a sheep because I would be so cozy and warm all the time, and I wouldn't need to get dressed.
I would be a chick because they're small and fuzzy.
I would like to be a pig because you get to roll in mud all day and be dirty. I would be a pig because I love bacon and I would eat myself.
It would be a horse because I'm the only animal on the farm that actually gets to wear shoes.
I would like to be a hen because I would like to lay an egg.
A piggy because they're really stinky and I like stinky smells.
I hope I'd have a friendly farmer that would take care of me. Someone who knows that even though I'm not human, I'm smart. Flat Earth Corner! Your Honor, Polly Piglet is accused of stealing this bell from Calling Cow. Moo! I will prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that Polly Piglet was lounging in his pig pen at the time of the alleged incident. Exactly. Polly Piglet has never been near Farmer Bob's pasture. It's much too far to walk on those stubby little legs. Furthermore, Polly has shown in all his actions and habits that he is the most honest of creatures. Can we say the same for Calling Cow? Hundreds of years ago, animals accused of doing something bad actually went to court. A real court. They had a lawyer and everything. It might sound strange to us today, but it shows that people in the past actually thought of animals like, well, people. So a cow could go to court. Speaking of cows, here's a question from Alexa.
How much milk can a cow produce per day?
Hey, looks like I'm heading to a farm again. A dairy farm. They know how much milk a cow can make, and it makes me want a vanilla milkshake. Say hi to the Anderson family. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Zoe.
So, how much milk can each one of these cows make in a day?
Some of them can make over 60 liters a day, and the milk truck comes every 2 days, and picks up over 6,000 liters of milk.
Wow, that's a lot of milk. The Andersons have 104 cows here, and they want them all to be happy.
Hey, they can walk around, and they're not in a tight space. Do you think that makes them happy?
Yes, we think so, because they could walk around whenever they want. They could lie down whenever they want. They could also eat or drink whenever they want.
They'd rather be in here than out in the hot sun or the freezing cold.
That reminds me of a question I got.
What type of technology do they have on the farm?
We have lots of technology here. See the bracelets on the cow's legs?
Kristen tells me it's like a step counter that people wear, except for cows. Back at the office, they monitor lots of different information on the cows. They even have special apps on their phones to help check on the cow's health. Sometimes when a cow isn't moving as much as usual, it might be sick, and they can check right away. Or if a cow is moving too much, it might be ready to give birth. Kristen's mom, Jody, is also a vet, and she's about to examine a pregnant cow.
All right, so this is Hazel, and she's 66 days pregnant. And so I'm going to use my ultrasound to show you.
Okay.
And so we just put my arm in. We have to take some manure out.
Does that hurt?
No, not at all, because my arm's pretty small.
Yeah.
I have a glamorous job, did I tell you that? And now I put the ultrasound probe with my hand in, and then we'll see the whole body. Its head, its neck.
Oh, yeah. I see the head and the neck. Amazing.
Wow, it's like a shower.
Yeah, that's the cooling system. Water comes down automatically when it gets to a certain temperature, so the cows never get too hot.
Are the cows getting a back scratch?
Yeah, kind of. If they get itchy or flies on them, they can't scratch their back, so they come here. It's kind of like a massage.
And it works automatically. That's so cool.
Hey Zoe, meet our robot Olaf.
Cool, what does he do?
He pushes the feed in. When the cows eat, they kind of push the feed out. So Olaf pushes it back towards them. And he has little cameras under him, so he sees where he's going.
Cool, and you don't have to do it by hand?
Yep, but we still do lots of chores. Do you want to help me do my favorite chore?
Sure.
Let's shovel some poop. It's kind of like shoveling snow, except it's brown.
But shoveling poop is not exactly high-tech.
We have an alley scraper down there, and it pushes the poop all the way to here, but it doesn't go all the way into the gutter. So I have to push it into the gutter, and then it gets stored as fertilizer inside the manure pit, and that's the stuff we put on our crops to make them grow.
Hey Zoe, it's milking time. Do you want to help?
Yeah, totally. So they come in by themselves?
Yeah, they know to come in by themselves because they love being milked.
Cool.
So we'll start with this cow.
The first thing is to squeeze a bit of milk out. And if it isn't lumpy, it means there's no infection and it's okay to continue. Now we need to put on the milker tubes.
Does it hurt the cows?
Absolutely not. It's actually like a massage and they enjoy being milked. Do you want to put your finger in and try it?
Sure.
Put your finger in, Kristen. You feel?
Yeah.
It's doing this to your finger. So it's a gentle massage. Push it right now. And this goes underneath. There you go.
Whoa, look at all that milk coming out.
That was awesome. These cows seem really happy.
Healthy cows are happy cows.
Happy cows make more milk.
Well, thanks for helping me find stuff out. These cows are making me feel musical.
Yes, a happy cow makes more milk and we work together like a family band. Oh, my happy cow makes more milk to drink. Someday I'm going to teach her how to sing this song with me in perfect harmony. Yes, a happy cow makes more milk indeed. We're good to each other and we get what we need. We're an awesome team. I'm every farmer's dream.
Oh, yeah.
The experiment!
A happy cow makes good milk. And from good milk, we can get cream. I'm going to use this cream to make butter. You need a cup of heavy cream. You pour it into the jar.
And shake, shake, shake. Shake, 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 shake. And there it is, my ball of butter. Ah, delicious. I'm still trying to figure out Gio's question about what makes a good farm animal. So I'm going to speak to one more person. She's an animal scientist, and she's dedicated her whole life to the proper treatment of farm animals. Temple Grandin. Temple is autistic, so her brain works a bit differently than other people's brains. When she was a little kid, she didn't start to speak until she was almost 4 years old. But she always understood animals in a special way. Hi, Temple. Thanks so much for agreeing to speak to me.
Well, it's great to be here today.
Do you love animals?
I certainly do. I've been working with animals all my life.
I heard that you have a different way of seeing the world, and it helps your work with animals. Can you tell me about that?
Well, I'm an extreme visual thinker. My mind thinks in images. And in the very first work I ever did with cattle, I noticed that cattle would see a shadow and refuse to walk over it, or there'd be a hose on the ground, and the cattle would see that and stop. And at the time that I started my research, I didn't know that other people weren't as visual as I was. But being a visual thinker helped me in work with animals, because animals don't think in words. They're gonna think in pictures. They're gonna think in sounds, smells. Back in the 70s, the 80s, and the early 90s, cattle handling was really bad. The idea of handling cattle in a calm, low-stress manner, nobody thought about that. So I worked with people on improving cattle handling, and equipment I've designed is in all of the major meatpacking companies in North America.
Do you think you're making cattle happier?
What I'm basically doing is making cattle be a lot less fearful and less stressed. Animals can feel pain, they can feel fear. They also can be happy. I've seen cattle play, run around, jumping around, playing. And we have got to give those animals a life that's worth living.
Well, thanks very much for your work, Temple.
Well, thank you very, very much for having me.
Now I'm ready to answer today's big question. For real this time.
What makes an animal a good farm animal?
Well, Gio, the big answer is being a happy animal. I found out that when farm animals are treated well, they're healthier and happier. And that means they give us lots of the good stuff that helps us survive. Chickens lay more eggs, cows give more milk, and it makes them good farm animals. If we take care of the animals will take care of us. So good. Thanks, cows. Thanks, farmers. Do you guys want a bite? See you next time for more Finding Stuff Out.
I love monster movies, don't you? Sorry, a giant dragon was about to eat Tokyo. Fortunately, it was only a movie. Or is it? Here's the first question from Isaac.
Do dragons really exist?
The short answer is, it's a mystery. But some people say yes. The Flat Earth Corner! There was a fire-breathing dragon in the land, and it had terrible wings and scales sort of like my armor, and I defeated it with this magic sword. No villager saw it, because it turned invisible. It turned invisible because it was magic. That's like my magic sword. Yes, that's what happened. Hey, who's laughing? I'm not making this up. I'll have at you with my magic sword. Hey, come back here, you coward! Let me have at you with my magic sword! Ah! Dragon attack! Help! There's a dragon trying to attack me! Ah! It's just a dragon kite from China. Cultures from all around the world have dragon legends. From Europe to Asia, artists and performers tell stories about dragons. Some of the dragons look like lizards, some look like snakes, and some of them with wings look like giant bats. So many dragon stories from so many different countries. Today, though, we know that dragons really don't exist, right? Huh? But I said dragons don't exist. That can't be right. My computer says that dragons really do exist. Whoa, maybe there is a reason to all these dragon legends. Well, maybe there's huge reptile monsters. Maybe your questions on reptiles will help me out. I've got to find out the truth.
What's the difference between a reptile and an amphibian?
Well, Livia, reptiles and amphibians are easy to mix up. They're all animals that don't have fur. But there's one big thing that makes them different. Frogs and salamanders are amphibians, which means they start life in the water as fishy-like animals. Then they grow legs and can walk on the ground and breathe air. Reptiles are born looking like little versions of the grown-ups. The babies look so cute, but then they get really big. Okay, not that big, but still big enough to be scary. Marnie had a question about that.
Which was the biggest reptile that ever lived?
The biggest reptile that ever lived? The giant lizard that ate Tokyo, of course. Nom, 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 nom. Ice cream mountain. Whoa. Just kidding. But you know what's amazing? Reptiles never stop growing. They grow their whole lives. Hey, come back with my house. Okay, my pet gecko won't get that big. Even though reptiles keep growing, they slow down when they get old. But some can still get pretty big. Who's the biggest? The saltwater crocodile is probably the biggest reptile alive. The biggest turtle is the leatherback sea turtle. Its babies can fit in your hand, but they grow to be as long as your bed. And some pythons can be almost 4 times as tall as I am. People used to think dinosaurs were reptiles. That would have made them the biggest reptiles ever. How's it going, big guy? Today, scientists think dinosaurs were their own group of animals. They weren't reptiles. But I wonder, could dinosaurs be those dragons that we hear stories about? Nope. My research says that dinosaurs were extinct way before humans existed. I guess I have to take some more questions. Here's one from Sammy.
How do some reptiles crawl on walls?
To find out how reptiles climb the walls, please welcome reptile expert Pat Benatar.
Hi, Harrison.
Hey.
Thank you for having me on your show. This is my lizard, Spike.
Oh, I sure hope he doesn't climb my walls. Looks like he'd scratch them all up.
Actually, this is not a wall climber. His feet are not made for climbing walls, but your gecko sure can.
Oh, he sure does. Look, he's climbing. But how come your lizard can't do that?
Your gecko has little hairs on the end of each of his toes that help him to stick to things with static electricity.
Hairs? I don't see any hairs on his feet.
Well, it's kind of like this. If I take this balloon and rub it on you, it'll stick. That's static electricity. That's what we believe happens with geckos. It's still a bit of a mystery.
I wish I could use my hands and feet to walk on walls.
Actually, scientists are working on something like that, but you won't find that in anybody's home anytime soon.
I wonder if I could get some good ideas from... If you were going to climb a wall, how would you do it?
I would put sticky stuff on my hands and feet, and then I'd be able to climb. I would fly.
I would put suction cups on my hands and feet.
I would call Superman and he'd lift me up onto the roof.
I can cut a hole in the roof
Then I can use the ladder, and I can yell I'm in the top in the world.
Well, I would grab some trampoline. I'd start bouncing and bouncing and bouncing until I got high enough to like hurt myself on the roof.
Does that sound safe?
No!
Well, sometimes my mom says that I make her climb the walls. Lance had another question about how reptiles walk.
How do snakes move without legs?
For critters without legs, snakes really get around. The secret is scales. A snake's scales grip the ground sort of like the bottom of your sneakers. And I found out that snakes can move in 4 different ways. By scrunching itself up, then stretching out in front. By wiggling in an S pattern. By sidewinding, which is sort of like flinging itself, or by creeping like a caterpillar. To find out more about how snakes move, it's time for... My Great Challenge! Today, my great challengers are Jordan.
Yeah!
Charles.
Yeah!
Tristan.
Yeah!
And Veronica.
Yeah!
So you're probably wondering why you're dressed up in these snake costumes.
Yeah.
Well, today you're gonna pretend to be snakes and race to the finish line, and the first one to eat their gummy mice will be the winner. Good?
Yeah!
Okay, and Pat is here to provide some tips to get you there the fastest.
Okay, what you guys got to do is you got to slither like snakes. Now, don't forget, snakes don't have arms or legs, so you've got to press your parts of your body onto that mat and squirm yourself forward. Move along just like a snake. You guys have a goal. You got to get to that gummy mouse and eat it.
Okay.
Slither like snakes.
Are you ready?
Yeah!
Get set, and go! Oh, look at this. I think Jordan has a good technique down.
Yeah, he's got it going on there. Look at that. We're getting there.
Oh, Jordan's way ahead. And he's getting the gummy mouse.
Come on, Veronica, you can get up there.
I think Jordan's got it.
Jordan's got it.
We're gonna get there.
And then second place, we got Charles.
Veronica's stuck. Come on, Veronica, slither like a snake. Dig in and move. You can do it. You're almost there. She's almost there. Slither, slither.
Jordan was so fast.
Oh man, she's gonna get it.
Get it. Get the gummy mouse.
There we go.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So it looks like Jordan's our winner.
Yeah!
Awesome. Okay, so what was your slithery technique that you used to get to the finish line?
What I did is I used my shoulders and put them really into the ground. And I didn't really like just go like this. I actually turned a lot and actually put my shoulders into the ground.
So you like turned your whole body to get into it?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. And what about you?
I tried to do as big zigzags as possible to pull me from side to side to go across.
Right.
I use my feet and pretty much every part of my body that sticks out a bit to dig into the mats and push myself forward.
Well, my technique was that if I go left to right, it would work, but it didn't work as much.
So you guys did great. You basically moved like snakes.
So I have a little prize for every one of you. More gummy mice.
Yeah!
Geez, snakes are so hungry. So obviously snakes don't really eat gummy mice. But here's another question about that.
What do reptiles eat?
Reptiles can eat bugs, fish, and small animals. Oh, and snakes can eat big animals like deer. Wait, what? How is it possible? A deer is this big, and a snake's mouth is only that big. How can a snake even do it? How does his mouth not rip open or his head not explode? And, uh-oh, my head's starting to overload. Ah! You're gonna make my head explode. Oh, I think my head would explode if I tried to eat something that big.
Well, actually, when snakes eat, they dislocate the back of their jaws like this so that they can swallow things larger than their heads.
Whoa, so they can just unhook their jaw like that?
Exactly.
Wow, this gives me an idea for... Uh-oh, do try this at home. Want to know how big of a bite you could take if you were a snake? Open your mouth as wide as you can and measure. Now expand it by this much. If you were a snake, you could eat a whole watermelon in one bite. Speaking of weird things about snakes, Paolo had a question.
How can a snake not die if it has poison?
That is weird, but I found out that it's because snake venom is different from poison. It is weird that a venomous snake doesn't die from its own venom inside of it, but I'm pretty sure that Pat knows the answer.
The difference between venom and poison is that venom has to be in the bloodstream for it to work, whereas poison has to be swallowed. Venomous snakes actually inject their venom into their prey, and it helps them to pre-digest their food.
Oh, I saw this video where a venomous snake eats another venomous snake. Is that true?
Yeah, many venomous snakes eat other venomous snakes. Once again, the venom has to be injected into the blood, so that venomous snake, if you got bitten by the other one, that could be deadly. But just by digesting it, it's not a problem at all.
Well, I bet snakes don't taste good.
Believe it or not, some people eat rattlesnakes.
Eat rattlesnakes? Pretty sure there's an easier lunch to catch than that. Speaking of venomous snakes, I found videos of some of the most dangerous snakes in the world, like the puff adder and the black mamba in Africa, the tiger snake in Australia, the desert horned viper in the Middle East, the common krait, and the world's largest venomous snake, the king cobra in Asia. And in North America, the rattlesnake is one of the most poisonous snakes. You didn't bring a rattlesnake with you, did you?
Fooled you.
I always fall for pranks. You know who hates pranks? Snakes. Do not poke, do not provoke. Snakes who cannot take a joke. Don't give a cobra stinky gum or ring an adder's bell and run. Their bite's no fun, their bite's no fun. Don't photobomb a viper class or stick your tongue out at an ass. You'll be sad if it gets mad because that prank could be your last. Their bite's no fun, their bite's no fun. Yeah. I guess snakes can't take a joke. Oh, apparently I can't take a joke very well either. Thanks, Pat, for being on my show.
My pleasure.
Now here's another question from Brianna.
How come reptiles have to go on rocks to stay warm?
To answer your question, I'm here with my friend Little Ray at his own reptile zoo.
Hey Harrison, thanks for having me on the show. And this is the Hammer, one of our green iguanas that we have at the zoo.
So reptiles like to sunbathe. Why is that?
Well, reptiles, unlike us, are ectothermic or cold-blooded. We're endothermic or warm-blooded. And what this means is that we can control our own body temperature. If we get too hot, we sweat to cool down. Too cold, we can shiver to warm up. Reptiles like the Hammer can't do that. His body temperature is actually controlled by the temperature of his surroundings.
He's looking pretty warm right now. Should we try to cool him off?
Well, he will sit under a heat lamp like this to warm himself up or under the sun, and sometimes he can get really hot, but when he gets too hot, we don't have to do anything to cool him down. He will actually physically move to a cooler area if he starts to get too hot.
This rock is too hot. Ouch! This rock is too cold. Brrr. This rock is just right. Ah. Whoa, yeah.
Ah. I saw something really weird that happens to reptiles when they get too cold. Does this really happen?
Well, it does. If reptiles do get too cold, especially if they're living in a place where they're not supposed to be, or there's a cold snap, when they get really cold, their bodies will just start to shut down, and they just can't move very well. So if they're up in a tree, if it's windy, if all of a sudden a branch moves, if they try to walk, if they lose their grip, they just can't kind of re-grab on. And iguanas and other reptiles can fall out of trees.
So do you get them air conditioners in the summer and heaters in the winter?
Well, we do have to control their the heat in their habitat, but what we do is we keep the zoo at a comfortable temperature for people, and then we use heat lamps and heat pads, and the reptiles are able to kind of manage their own body temperature on their own. We give them the choice and they go where they like.
Cool. Next question. It's from Jesse.
Why is a crocodile's back so hard?
Oh, I know the answer. That's easy. So an action hero can cross a river on a crocodile's back. Ow! Ooh, ah! Ugh. I'm sure there's more to it than that. Let's just ask the crocodile. I don't know. Or maybe Little Ray instead. So, why do crocodiles have hard backs?
Well, Harrison, crocodiles have osteoderms in their skin. And osteoderms are bony plates that are actually inside their skin. You can actually touch them if you want.
Not gonna bite?
Nope, you're gonna be fine. And when you're touching them, you're actually touching skin. These little bumps that you see are bones that are inside their skin. Not under their skin, not on top of their skin, but she's covered in skin just like we have, and these are bone plates that they have for armor. Actually, if you want to hold them, just put your hand underneath like that and grab him at the base of his tail, just like that.
So what's the advantage of having the bones inside of the skin like that?
Well, crocodilians are highly social animals. They do live in groups, and they're super powerful, and they will fight. And if you look, base of the skull, their neck, the core parts of their body, the base of their tail, that's where these really heavy armored plates are. If they do get in a fight, all the armor is in the core parts of their body.
Right. Well, you should probably take him back before I get bit.
I got him for you, buddy.
Cool. Well, Yasmina had another question about reptiles.
Are most reptiles dangerous?
So, are most reptiles dangerous? Like, what about this guy? He doesn't look very dangerous to me.
Well, most reptiles are not dangerous, but some of them, when they are dangerous, some can be very dangerous. Venomous snakes, big crocodiles, things like that. This guy, on the other hand, certainly doesn't look like he's overly dangerous, doesn't look too big. However, he has razor sharp teeth. And a bite from this one, Harrison, you would probably be getting a few dozen stitches if it's a simple bite from him. So as much as he doesn't look too bad, you do have to respect that different animals certainly can be very dangerous.
So what does he eat?
Invertebrates, giant walking sticks and things. He eats small birds, lizards, sometimes small mammals that live high in the canopy of the rainforest in New Guinea, where he comes from, lives high up in the trees.
So he doesn't eat people, does he?
No, he doesn't eat people, but he is a cousin of the Komodo dragon, one of the most infamous lizards in the world, and they have been documented actually attacking and killing people.
Yikes. Well, this guy's starting to make me nervous now. What if he gets out?
Well, he won't get out, Harrison, but for the kids out there, if you're ever exploring and you see an animal in the wild, you should just not approach them, leave them alone. Most reptiles are harmless. However, there are some dangerous animals out there that you might not think are.
Right. Well, thanks for being on my show.
Harrison, thanks a lot, buddy. See you later.
See you later, alligator. You'd never hurt me, would you? You're not like a Komodo dragon. Hey! Komodo dragon! That might be the answer to the mystery that started us off.
Do dragons really exist?
The big answer is... sort of. The dragon monsters we hear about in stories aren't real, but some dragon myths probably come from exaggerations of real reptiles. Snakes that open their jaws to eat something bigger than they are. Giant lizards that bite. Lizards whose tongues look like flames.
See? I wasn't making it up. Okay, maybe the fire-breathing part. And the magic part. And the invisible part.
I guess if you've never seen a snake or a lizard before and someone started telling you about them and they were exaggerating about them, then maybe you'd start to believe that they were actually really giant dragons that existed. Fortunately, there are no dragons in my attic. Did I fool you? Well, reptiles aren't scary, fire-breathing monsters at all. I thought you were a nice reptile. See you next time for more Finding Stuff Out.
Hi there, I'm Mr. Bones, and I'm here, or maybe I should get out of here because of this question from Alessia.
I wonder what we would look like without bones.
No bones? Who would ever want that?
I actually think it would be kind of fun.
Well, that cuts me right to the bone.
Oh, I didn't mean it. I'm sure you're useful for something. I feel it in my bones.
Good one, yeah.
Well, Alessia, I'll find out what we'd look like without bones by the end of the show.
I've got no bones about it. Anyways, here's a question from Annalisa. Does every animal have bones? I checked, and I found out that fish, birds, amphibians like frogs, reptiles like lizards, and mammals like us have bones inside our bodies. But it turns out the world has way more animals that don't have bones. So, which kinds of animals don't have bones? You've got your insects like caterpillars, butterflies, ladybugs, bumblebees, beetles, grasshoppers, and other creepy crawly things like spiders and centipedes. There's worms! They have no bones! Neither do lobsters or crabs! Jellyfish, squids, octopus, snails! There's so many! In fact, 96% of animal species don't have bones! That's almost all the animals on Earth! Ah! You're gonna make my head explode! Oh, that's a lot of boneless animals. But this great question from Belize really got me thinking.
Why are some boneless animals squishable and some not?
That's true. Not all boneless animals are floppy and squishy. Why do some have hard parts and others don't? Like these spiky sea urchins. They're so weird. To answer your question, I'm off to my local aquarium.
Have you ever held a sea urchin before?
No, I haven't, but can I try?
Yeah, let's try it out. So you want to hold out your hand? Here we go. Can you feel it moving on your hand?
Yeah. It feels so funny. I'm here with Celine, and she's helping me find out more about animals with no bones. So, none of these animals have bones?
Well, except for the fishes, none of the animals in this room have bones. They're all part of a group that we call invertebrates. They don't have any backbones.
You'd think if you had no bones, you'd be all squishy.
Most of them would be squishy. They're called soft-bodied invertebrates.
Can I touch some of them?
Yeah. Why don't we try actually one of the most squishy of them? Do you know what kind of animal this is?
It looks like a sea cucumber.
That's right. This is a California sea cucumber. And you can see it actually starting to look like it's just gooing away. Yeah. That's because most of its body is water, so when it's out of the water, it can't retain it, and that's why it's so squishy.
This feels like slime. It's so weird.
This is called a box crab.
This crab doesn't look squishy at all.
That's right, it's not.
It's really hard.
It is really hard. A lot of invertebrates still have a hard outer shell, like this one. It's called an exoskeleton.
Oh, I see. So the exoskeleton's on the outside?
Yeah, it is. It's kind of like having an armor. It actually needs to do something that's called molting every now and then in order to grow. One of my crabs actually molted this afternoon. Yeah. And you can actually see the way it looks like on the inside.
It's empty. It's like a hollow suit of armor. Why would a crab get rid of its shell?
Well, see, the shell is hard, so it doesn't expand. So when the crab needs to grow, it's gonna leave its old shell behind so it can make a new one. And it's soft for a little while, and then over a few days or a few weeks, depending on the species, it's gonna get hard again. It's gonna have a nice new hard shell to protect it.
Are there any animals that have shells?
Yeah, lots of other animals have shells, like oysters and clams, and even weird-looking animals called chitons, like this little guy.
It's like bumpy.
It is. That's all of its hard shell plates. And when it's scared, it's actually going to start going into a bowl to protect its soft body that's on the inside.
Wow. What about the squishy boneless animals? Why don't they have any armor?
Ah, that's a very good question. Tell you what, why don't we go meet our star soft-bodied invertebrates and find out?
Okay,
yeah?
sure.
He's a little shy, but let's go see if we can find him.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep. The aquarium squishy star is actually an octopus. And Selena's right. Octopuses are really shy. Where is he?
It's a very good question. It's actually really hard to find.
Why?
Because they are really good at hiding. They can camouflage, but most importantly, they can fit in really tiny spots. They can squish their bodies in the smallest spaces. So there's lots of areas in this habitat where it could be hiding right now.
I wanted to ask you about a video I saw of an octopus. The guy that made it drilled a really small hole through a plastic box. Then he put an octopus inside. The hole was really small compared to the octopus, but it squeezed through. It was amazing. It took a while, but he made it. I don't think that octopus could have squeezed through if he had a shell.
Yeah, if you had an exoskeleton like the crab that we saw before, do you think you could fit in a very small space?
Definitely not.
No, but octopuses, some of them can weigh up to 300 pounds, but they can still fit in a hole as small as an orange. They're really good at escaping. If there's a space where they can fit in to go somewhere, they will go there.
Yeah. Thanks, Celine. Now here's a question from Jeremy.
How do octopi move?
Well, Jeremy, I checked, and they actually have some very special muscles in their body that work without needing bones. It's sort of like how your tongue moves without bones. They also have suckers on their arms that let them push themselves along the ocean floor. So it would be like if my body were made of tongues and suckers on them. That would be weird.
Does a jellyfish feel squishy? Because it really looks squishy.
Well, Jenna, the aquarium also has lots of jellyfish.
I'm here with senior biologist and jellyfish expert, Mackenzie. Do jellyfish feel squishy?
Well, why don't you try touching one and tell me what you think? What does it feel like?
It feels like jelly.
It does, doesn't it?
Are jellyfish made out of jelly?
No, believe it or not, they're mostly made of water.
I always thought jellyfish were made out of jelly. I always thought jellyfish could sting you.
They can sting. All jellyfish sting, but some have a stronger sting than others. These ones have a very, very mild sting, so you won't even feel it. And the stingers are located all around the outside of the bell there.
Do jellyfish have eyes?
They do have eyes. They have eyes around the edge of the bell, and that helps them sense where they are in the ocean and in the water column, so they're always swimming up.
So cool. Thanks for helping me find stuff out about squishy animals.
Go, go, go! Jellyfish, squids, octopuses, and other creatures like the cuttlefish and nautilus use a kind of water jet propulsion to zoom away. Cuttlefish, octopus, and squids can also shoot out ink that spreads in the water to confuse predators. How do they do that? To find out, do try this at home. In this experiment, Daniele and Andrea will use these water balloons as our squids. They fill them with water and food coloring to pretend it's ink.
Here we go. It is farting out some ink. And it's spinning.
Look at them go! Just from the force of the water streaming out.
This is so cool.
If they want to escape, squids and octopuses suck water inside their body. Then they squeeze it back out a tube called a siphon. They can point their siphon in any direction. That's what makes the water jet propulsion that lets them rocket away like these balloons. Cool, huh? Thanks, guys.
Bye, Zoe.
There sure are a lot of squishy animals in the sea. But what about on land? You don't ever see a giant squid walking down the street. I wonder why. Well, it turns out there's a good reason. If they lived on land, they'd hardly be able to move. In the sea, all sizes of squishy animals do just fine because the water can support their bodies. Sort of like how you float when you swim. Hey! That reminds me of this question I got from Danielle.
How big do giant squids get?
Giant squids are the largest, awesomest squishy animals in the world. They grow as long as 13 meters. That's the size of an entire school bus. I think I feel a song coming on. I've got no bones. I'm the size of a bus. I'm a squid who lives in the ocean blue. Oh, here in the water I go as I please, but on land I flop around like a pile of goo. Pile of goo? If you're squishy and boneless and want to be on land, a word of advice between me and you. To live out of the water, you'd better be small, so you can hold your body up and hide from you-know-who.
Just stay small and slimy, that's all you have to do.
Yep, on land, the bigger a boneless, squishy animal it is, the harder it is for it to move. So they don't get much bigger than this.
Hi, snail. Hi, earthworm.
You're just the cutest little things ever, aren't you?
Look at how this worm moves around with no arms or legs. The trick is that he fixes the back of his body to the ground and then pushes out his front part. His muscles act like a spring. Look at it go!
Now here's a question about my little sluggy friend from Kiara.
Why are slugs so slimy and like squishy?
I checked, and I found out that slime is really useful stuff. It helps slugs and snails glide across the ground and stick to a surface so they can climb straight up. It also keeps their body from drying out and protects it from getting cut on anything sharp.
Hey, all that slime gives me an idea for...
My Great Challenge!
This is the slipperiest, sloppiest, slimiest challenge yet. Emma and Audrey, you'll be Team Ooze.
Yeah!
Chris and Justin, you'll be Team Goo.
Yeah!
You're going to help me test out the slug slime in the messiest way possible. The buckets in front of you have slime in it. You're going to cover yourselves with it and slide down the course. But first, I want to see if you can slide down the course without using slime. I need one volunteer from each team. Okay, Audrey and Justin. You can wriggle, push with your feet, and pull with your elbows. You're not allowed to use your hands. And remember, you're a slug, so your belly has to stay at all times in contact with the course. Go ahead. Let's test out your slug skills. It's pretty hard, right?
Yeah.
Aha, as I suspected. We're gonna need grade A slime to slide the course. Here's how the challenge goes. Justin and Audrey, you'll be the slugs, and Chris and Emma, you'll be the slimers. Slimers, you're gonna cover the front of the slugs to help them slide to the finish line. And slugs, if you ever need more slime, yell, "Need more slime!" And slimers, you're gonna slime them. And then you'll switch. Are you ready?
Yeah!
Slimers, start sliming.
Okay, all slimed up. Now go!
Hurry up, slug! Let's go, Audrey, go, Audrey, go, Audrey.
It looks like this is gonna be a tight yet slippery relay race. In a relay race, your partner continues the race and you get back. First team to finish wins.
Go, go, go! Chris, get out.
Remember, when you're done, you can start climbing your teammate.
I need to get slimed.
Go!
Team Goo has a late start, but they're not far behind.
Almost there.
What's this? Team Goo looks like they're not moving at all.
Need more slime. Need more slime.
Oh, whatever. Not enough slime, I suppose.
Team Ooze wins!
Yeah!
Why do you think slime comes in handy for slugs?
It helps them move easily and climb walls.
To protect their skin from rocks and scrapes.
Because it helps them move around.
I think it's useful because it's slippery so it can, actually move.
Exactamundo. Well, thanks for taking part in my disgustingly slimy challenge.
You're welcome.
Now here's our next question about another slimy critter.
Why do leeches stick to you? Yuck.
Great question, Noah. I found out that hundreds of years ago, some people actually wanted these squishy animals to suck their blood. And here's why. Flat Earth Corner! Leeches. Get your leeches here. It can cure whatever's wrong with you. Got a headache? Stick a leech on it. It'll drain that pesky blood right out of your head. Sore knee? Stick a leech on it. Stomachache? You bet. Let these little suckers go to work. There's nothing they can't cure. Leeches are soft-bodied invertebrates that are specialized in sucking your blood?
Hundreds of years ago, doctors actually used leeches to treat everything from ear infections to stomach aches. They believed that all you had to do to cure an illness was to drain blood out of the body.
Wait a minute. What? It says here that some doctors still use leeches today. You mean leeches can actually heal you? This I've gotta see.
To help me find out the healing power of leeches, please welcome real-life surgeon Dr. Demetrios Rizes.
Hey, Zoe. Brought you some new friends.
Ew, they're like small slimy vampires. Sorry guys, but you give me the creeps.
Well, let me help you guys get acquainted and show you how these little guys help surgeons like us.
Okay, little bloodsuckers, I'll give you a chance. Ugh, they have the weirdest alien-looking mouths ever.
Well, that's because they have 3 sets of jaws and up to 60 teeth. They also have a sucker that when they bite, it latches on, but you never really feel them bite.
Why?
Well, they have this special saliva, and they have this compound in it that's kind of like an anesthetic, sort of like what you get at the dentist. You want to touch one?
Sure.
We're gonna need gloves for this. You ready?
Yeah.
There you go.
I did it! I'm actually holding a leech. Cool. So what do you use them for?
They have other special compounds in the saliva, including one called hirudin, and that helps fight clotting. Clotting happens when your blood vessels close up and you stop bleeding.
I don't get it.
Sometimes bad accidents happen. People could lose fingers, and reconstructive surgeons such as myself need to reattach them.
Gross. But so interesting. If someone loses a finger, surgeons can sometimes sew it back on. Leech's special spit not only prevents clotting and infection, it also makes the bite painless. Best of all, these little bloodsuckers help make sure the person doesn't bleed too much during the surgery.
After a long surgery that could be up to 16 hours, you want to make sure things go well, and the leeches help us do that.
Wow, amazing. Okay guys, you're not so bad after all. Leeches are squishy animals with no bones. Does that help them with what they do?
Being an invertebrate, they're able to suck up a lot more blood than their body volume. So they could drink up to 3 times their body size in blood.
Do they just keep drinking and drinking until they burst?
Well, no, they know when enough is enough, and they just drop off afterwards.
Thanks for showing me that these little bloodsuckers can actually be your friend. Speaking about healing powers, Maya has a really interesting question.
How do worms grow back their body?
Well, Maya, I checked. And if a worm gets cut in half, it can't grow into 2 worms. The front half may survive, but only if it has all the organs it needs, like its 5 hearts and its brain. But wouldn't be a nice thing to do to the poor little worm.
I wouldn't do that. It's okay, don't worry.
But many soft-body invertebrates actually can regrow body parts, like an octopus. It can regrow its tentacles. One squishy animal is a master at regrowing itself. It's a sea cucumber, like the one I got to touch at the aquarium. If a piece of it gets broken off, it just goes off and grows into a whole new sea cucumber. Could you imagine if we could do that? I wonder what my friends would do. Ask a friend. Hey guys, what would you do if your arms and legs fell off and grew into new copies of you?
It would be amazing. I would never be scared of getting into an accident, and my body parts would always grow back.
Make them do all my chores.
I would fight crime.
If I had a body part that can regrow into me, I would love it. I can just chop off my arm and have a new one.
It's like I'm getting reincarnated, and I can have like a foot where my hand should be and a hand where my foot should be, and I'm gonna look like a Godzilla.
I would make them my little minions, and they do whatever I want. I think it would be fun at first, and then it would probably get annoying. Oh man, my clone ate the cereal again. Good thing we're not boneless like sea cucumbers. Hey, that brings us back to the question that started off the whole show.
I wonder what we would look like without bones.
The big answer is we look like blobby sea creatures, and it would be hard to get on pants. If we were living on land with no skeleton or hard parts, we'd have to roll and flop our way to the ocean and grow some gills. That's because we're so big, the only place we'd be able to get around is in the ocean, with the water holding our bodies up. So, if we had no bones and we had to live on land,
We'd have to be a whole lot smaller and slimier. Like these little guys.
I guess it's worth keeping me around after all.
Yeah, you're pretty useful for us to run, jump, and play.
Yeah, unless you're a lazy bones.
Good one. That tickled my funny bone.
Another good one.